Another day. How do you like this hairstyle? I shaved the beard, shaved the hair a little bit. I did this because of this new job that I'm starting in 2 weeks. Today, I want to talk briefly about how to be pro-black. I'm going to make a longer video about this in a couple weeks. I got a script written out and everything, but I want to talk about the 3 points that I'm going to bring up in that video that's coming up, and how you can go about being pro-black where you are right now. Let me give you a little bit about my story. So I was born and raised as a military brat. My dad was in the military, and I was often around white people, and I was often the only black person in my class, the only black person in my church sometimes, in the youth group sometimes. So I've been used to standing out as a black man, and I also went to a predominantly white college, and I now serve as at a predominantly white church. So I've been around white people most of my life. And it's only been recently, maybe the last 5 years or so, that I've been more conscious about my blackness and how it affects every aspect of my life and how it affects how I'm showing up in these spaces where no one looks like me. I've always been aware of my blackness, don't get me wrong. I mean, since I was age 6, but I was trying to adopt respectability politics and trying to be the good black boy so that I could be accepted in all these white spaces up to like 5 years ago. And then it hit me that, hey, I don't have to do this. And furthermore, these expectations being placed upon me in these spaces are not right. And so, I haven't really dived in, I haven't been able to dive deeply into my racial identity until the last year. And most of that is because it's so hard to deal with your racial identity when you are still in predominantly white spaces. That is the challenge of being a black American, because you don't get to escape whiteness, and to do the deep dive work of addressing whiteness or even your own anti-blackness while you're still in white spaces is very difficult. And so that's been my challenge. And I haven't left being in all white spaces and being the only minority in all white spaces, but I haven't given up my desire to understand my black identity and how anti-blackness has shown up in my life. So that's why I've been so adamant, especially lately on this channel, about addressing my anti-blackness, encouraging others to address their anti-blackness, and also being as pro-black as I can. That is my mission on this channel. So how to be pro-black? There's 3 things I want to talk about. The first thing, and I've already mentioned some of this, but the first thing is addressing the anti-blackness that is already within you. To be a cog in this machine, to be an American in an anti-black society, we all have anti-blackness within us, whether that's the way that we view black people and black hair and black culture and black music. And you can really see this on full-fledged if you talk to a lot of the immigrants that come into America from like South America or Africa, and they're black. When you see how they engage with things like assimilation and their embracing of respectability politics, you really get to see how black people can be anti-black. You really see that full-fledged in those spaces. But you also see that in, people that just happen to grow up around white people that are black, and they just kind of suppress their black identity to be accepted in these white spaces. And ironically, that never really works. So we all have this anti-blackness within us. So it's first coming to grips with, wow, I live in an anti-black society, and there are things that I have adopted, and there are ways that I've been conditioned to reject who I am, and to reject my blackness, and to reject black people as a whole, and to reject participating in the flourishing of black people. So first, I have to address my own anti-blackness. That is some very hard work. You might need a therapist to do this. You need literature, plenty of black literature on white supremacy. You also need community, I would say. You need some black people that you can be honest with, be real with, and be grounded in some black community as you're doing this work. I think that's also key. So the first step is addressing your anti-blackness. And then the second step is to address the anti-blackness around you. And I'm not saying that you have to be the angry black person at your job and you're the only black person there and you're just the advocate or the token. I'm not saying that you have to do that, but as you're on this journey, you start to notice all the anti-blackness that's around you. You hear these jokes that you've always heard, but you're hearing them in a different way. You're watching these movies that you've always seen, but you're recognizing, wow, they do not uplift black people in the way that they should. So it's just all these different things that you start to see. And I'm not saying you have to do anything right away with what you're seeing, but the key is to be conscious about the anti-blackness that is all around you. So you start within, then you start around you, and you can address what you need to address. Say there's a joke that someone says at work. Ask a question about the joke. Just resist and push back in your own little ways, and don't just be subjected to the anti-blackness that is around you. That's something that's been really healing for me, because when you're able to name it, it don't have to take power over you anymore. Or you don't, you won't be triggered by something and not even knowing why you're triggered by it. You know why you're triggered by it now, because it's anti-black. And you know what anti-black rhetoric sounds like. So you address the anti-blackness within you, you address the anti-blackness that is around you. And the last step to becoming pro-black, or to work towards your pro-blackness, is to dedicate yourself to the flourishing of black people. And that could be a lot of different things. I think the most important thing is educating yourself on Black history. You have to do that, because we're not taught the full picture of history in an anti-Black society. And if you can control the history in the textbooks, then you control the people. So you have to educate yourself as a Black man or a Black woman in this society. So that is how you participate in the flourishing of Black people, by educating yourself and sharing what you're learning. You don't have to be the spokesperson. Like I said, in your family, you don't have to go home and tell people, hey, y'all can't be eating fried chicken anymore. I mean, you can't be doing that. But you do want to participate in any way you can in the flourishing of Black people. This also might mean supporting Black businesses. This might mean supporting Black artists, supporting Black creatives, trying to support Black people wherever you can, and just participating in the flourishing of Black people. This also might mean not using your money in certain places or certain ways. Something I've been struggling with is this whole ChatGPT thing. I know that ChatGPT it runs off of these huge data centers that often tend to be in low income areas, that tend to be Black areas. I'm not saying all low income areas in the country are Black areas, but that tends to be the case because we're under resourced as a people. So my struggle has been, what do I do? Because I find ChatGPT helpful for my work and what I'm trying to do. So I've been trying to look at like alternatives for ChatGPT. So that's just one small way that I'm trying to figure out, how can I participate in the flourishing of the people that are around me. Another thing, I've been in ministry where I've been working at a church, and I've been in full-time ministry for 8 years, and I've always worked at a white church. The first church I worked at, it was more racially diverse, but it was still a white church, believe me. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm going part-time, and I'm getting into a career where I know that I'll be around more people of colors, and I'll be able to be more helpful to people of color. And the thing is, this is such a challenge for me, because I am doing good where I am, where I'm the only Black person there, especially when I'm maintaining who I am in my Black identity. I'm addressing my anti-Blackness, and I'm also looking at the anti-Blackness around me. Like I'm a much more effective person. I'm not just a token. I'm being productive and focused, and I'm using this space. A joke that I like to make. I'm letting my oppressor fund my liberation. Me working here, I mean, it pays my bills, but it's also helped me to, launch into another career that I think I'll be able to be more helpful to people of color, in that field that I'm going into. But I'm also still doing good work here, because I think I'm doing some work at chipping at these assumptions that people are having about Black men, Black women, any way I can, because we have to be in the system to change the system. But also, I mean, we can do both. We can be in the system, changing the system, but also outside of the system, building our own system. So I think we need to be doing both. So all work of Black liberation and Black flourishing is important. So that's how I'm trying to do it in my own life. And there's so many ways that you can do this in your life. I don't know what your job is. I don't know what your community looks like, but there are many ways that you can consciously participate in the flourishing of Black people. And this is what it means to be pro-Black. It's not that complicated. It's not rocket science. To be pro-Black is to want Black people to win, and to be willing to sacrifice your time, your resources, your privilege to make sure that Black people win. Black people in your family, to also, there's something else too that, I mean, there's so many levels to this. This is why I'm going to keep talking about this on my channel, on this channel. So subscribe if you want to hear more of this, because I got so many ideas. But one thing that I think is really important for Black men, this is something that is very, very pro-Black, and is Black power. And it is Black men learning to be disciplined, because this is our power. And what I mean by that, I need our Black men to be sexually disciplined. I need our Black men to be physically disciplined, getting in the gym, taking care of ourselves, prioritizing self-care. And like, as I'm trying to be the Black man that I want to be, and I think I need to be to support my people, I'm shaping up my future generations. As I think about my son that I want to have and my daughter that I want to have, they're not going to come into a world where they're not going to know who they are, nor are they going to come into the world where they don't know what anti-Blackness is. Like, they're going to know what anti-Blackness is, and they're going to know that this world has not been designed to see them thrive. I'm going to do all I can to equip them to be able to deal with the challenges of being in an anti-Black society. So the work that I'm doing on myself, I know, will be important for what's coming down the line. So I'm saying a lot. Like I said, I'm going to release a video here in a couple weeks where I'm expounding upon these ideas in a scripted format. But I want to recap. So to be pro-Black in America, you have to prioritize addressing the anti-Blackness that is within you. You have to prioritize addressing the anti-Blackness that is around you. And you have to prioritize participating in the flourishing of Black people. This is what it means to be pro-Black in America. And give me 3 reasons why every human being on the planet should not be pro-Black. More particularly, give me 3 reasons why every American should not be pro-Black. I can tell you why they're not being pro-Black, but give me reasons why they shouldn't, especially Black Americans. I think every Black American should be pro-Black. And if you believe in this message, if you believe that we should be focused on empowering Black people and educating Black people and encouraging Black people to be pro-Black, subscribe to this channel, like this video, share it. A lot more content on the way. I'm just really excited because I've had so many ideas, and every time I have an idea, I cut the camera on, I record, and I feel like I'm spreading the message of pro-Blackness. I want to be pro-Black AF, and I hope the same is true for you. Black power.